Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode we started... No, we didn't start. It was the episode before that we actually started. But we came here to visit Mr. Soseki. Mr. Natsume Soseki? Wait a second, what's his name again? Soseki Natsume. We came here to the prison and visited him and talked to him about the murder. And it seems really peculiar what the murder is all about. It was really strange. He witnessed it, but he says he didn't do it. And I kind of believe him because he seems to be a nice guy, a weird guy, and weird is good. So let's just go to the Briar Road right now and see what the Briar Road has to offer for us. 19th February, Briar Road. So this is the crime scene. So this is where it happened. Briar Road.
Oh, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak.
That is their job, you know?
But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They are often depicted in the adventures of Herlock shows, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close to a really Bobby's helmet.
What? The helmet?
Of course. I have to try one on one day.
Well, I hope your happy dream comes true. Mr. Gregson. What's the Japanese delegation doing here?
Oh, Inspector Gregson.
This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware.
Yes, of course. We're here to investigate.
So you've been to the holding cells then. What'd you make of the criminal?
He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect.
We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens. And the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Ah, the stone-cold air of rejection.
Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air.
That makes it worse somehow. Alright, we could try to examine, but I guess we can't now, can we? We can also look around. So, there... okay, so we could take a look at the street.
That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history.
Well, time certainly seems to have taken a toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks decidedly worse shaped than the other houses around here.
We must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right, cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. I'm gonna take a look around if we can. So this bicycle seems weird.
Oh, a British bicycle! Look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore.
Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well.
The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that.
Goodness, do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off from firm ground seems reckless. If you'd ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me.
Well, we'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun, Sato-san. Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment.
There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though.
Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place.
Do you see all the black smoke rising from the chimneys over there?
It says here that in Great Britain, many people heat their homes in winter using coal.
The only chimneys I really remember seeing in Japan were on top of the bathhouses. Do you think some of those houses could be on fire?
Not at all.
Well, even so, that much thick smoke billowing up to the heavens is surely going to turn the whole sky black sooner or later. Oh, that is true. That was a huge problem back in the day.
Gosh, you may be right about that.
Yes, that was indeed a big problem in all of the big cities, in Berlin, in Amsterdam, in Paris. We didn't do Mother Nature any favors as humankind, did we? Well, so this seems like London Tower? Huh. The cloud looks so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with the dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it is known as Foggy London Town.
I can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. It looks like it's still being built though. Looks like the Tower Bridge or something. I don't know, to be honest.
Aha, yes, that must be the Crystal Tower. Being built for the great exhibition that's opening in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking. Glazed on all sides and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
It's to be the largest exhibition in history, is it? I can't even begin to imagine. So there is this street to be. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow.
I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I worry coachmen might not see you and you could be flattened by horses.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern. Alright, so we checked out everything here, I guess. Let's check him out. That's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons.
I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern.
Oh no, I'm not getting caught out again. Twice is enough. Twice I found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing a thing about what was going on.
Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure it's the wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all.
Sato-san, you're so honest. I love it. Alright, so is there anything else to check out here? So this patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it?
That's true, I can't see anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. Oh! Where? Oi! What are you fellas doing here? We just wasting a conspiring with that mustached fella from Japan, are ya? Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, have ya? Get out of here before I give you an idin. Go on. What is an idin? Or idin?
His shooters are white like rats.
Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think.
What a disappointing experience.
Well, okay, so we can't investigate right now. Let's have a look at the snowman.
Oh, what a delightful snowman.
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy though.
Oh, it has a scarf, look.
You'd need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one.
I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf.
Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his.
But the person who made the snowman certainly would.
Yes, I know. You're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. Well, that is true, Inosuke. So, what about this carriage?
Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. They use vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
It's long been a dream of mine to ride in one of those through the streets of London.
Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then.
But that would mean being arrested in order to ride it, wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
No, I wasn't serious. Alright, so we checked out everything, did we? Yes, we did. We have check marks all around. That means we can finally convert. What if I present this? I haven't presented it. Let's present the armband. Inspector Gregson, could I show you this? Am I supposed to know what that is? I've never seen that insignia before. It's worn by defense lawyers in the Empire of Japan as a symbol of their profession. In other words, it's a worthless trinket here in Great Britain. Oh no, it's very important to me. It shows my spirit. An English gentleman keeps things like this, like his spirit, very much to himself, I'll have you know. Oh!
Don't give up, Mr. Naruhodo.
It's too late. He's crushed my spirit already. Alright, so we showed him. Let's converse. Scotland Yard.
Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place.
No, police, I would always say. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am.
Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Barbie's helmet.
It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city.
Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful?
Being a London Barbie is hard going, I can tell you.
Oh really?
First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can go off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit.
I had no idea.
The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way.
Let me see. 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama.
On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far.
And
when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps.
Oh my!
And I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well.
And chase after criminals trying to evade the law.
I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly, more alongside. But yes, they're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit.
I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Alright, so let's talk about the case then. It happened at around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind.
Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in a hospital.
I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all.
I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Okay, so she's still alive.
Here's a map of the local area. I happen to have one, have on me. You can take it if you want.
Really? Are you sure?
It's your post to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information to go on.
I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still.
Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept.
The local map has been entered into the court record.
Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it?
Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but...
But just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure.
How?
Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. What? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them.
There were witnesses now? Okay, do we talk about the witness? I just want to check out the map first, guys. I'm sorry. So, this is where the murder took place. So, this is going to be important. This reminds me a little bit of Apollo Justice, by the way. With the Kitaki case or something. Should be Kitaki. With the gangsters. Doesn't really matter. Let's go with the witnesses now. Who are these witnesses, Inspector?
A fellow and his wife, and the man's are the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard.
A policeman?
That might change things.
And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked.
Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a Barbie. Catching the bang in the egg and all that.
Do you think it might be possible for us to ask the policeman a few questions?
Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow.
Oh,
I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to.
that's that then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems.
A policeman witnessed the incident. As a judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed.
Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector.
What?
The person who led you to the suspect, I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
What are you bringing him up for?
Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Alright, so we're gonna talk about tomorrow's trial first. Let's keep the order.
That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not?
Well,
Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch the case with a barge pole.
because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean?
There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange though.
Sorry?
The Reaper, he hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now.
Yes, we did hear something to that effect.
And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum, the master criminals, the violent ones.
Master criminals? The violent ones?
That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins.
But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely?
That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase.
Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it?
No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest.
Really? What sort of reason, Inspector?
You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial.
Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as you put it? Well, it seems like that. Let's talk about Mr. Shawns. Oh.
Who did you hear that name from?
Oh, well, it was not Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Shawns was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Shawns' inspirational great deductions.
Fiddle faddle! The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere.
Oh.
I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime. Wanders around spotting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case.
Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He's a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he?
Gibble gabble!
Ah.
Ever seen this before?
Oh, yes, that's Rand's magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears.
Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all.
Well, I suppose there's an element of that.
We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's dangerous to us at Scotland Yard, as he is to all criminals.
That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Mr. Naruto, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes, what is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address, even... It's Baker Street! How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221 B. Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose.
We'd better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable.
Hurrah! I summon a carriage.
So we're to have a reunion already? With the great detective Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Well guys, we are about to meet Mr. Holmes again. But unfortunately, this is it for this episode of The Great Ace Attorney. Oh, new location has been added. In the next episode, we are going to go to Mr. Holmes' suite. So that's going to be sweet. So tune in next time when we're going to play. We're about to encounter Mr. Holmes again in The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. See you then.